Updated general hero tier list for the month of November 2024 for the game King Godcastle A Nob. In this video, you guys know the drill. Is that time again, me revisiting my general hero tier list for the month of November. If you are new here, it is something that I update every month, considering all the modes, freaking the newest hero, max legacies, accessories, etc. Like if you're a new player and you're wondering what kind of hero I should kind of be focusing on and what heroes I should kind of stray away from, this is a very good resource for you to keep up every month. So if you're interested, be sure to subscribe to keep up with that. You know, you guys know the I talk a lot. There are a lot of freaking heroes, and I try to go through pretty freaking quick because I don't want to go through I don't want to sit here for an hour, to be honest with you. And I've been doing this for a very long time, so I kind of know the drill as well. So S, A, B, C, D. So what do I need to tell you guys? So there are no in-between tiers, and there are no tiers between tiers, meaning that if there are two B tier heroes, even though one shows up first before the other, doesn't mean they're garbage than the other, right? I don't do tiers within tiers because that's even more of a disservice for the game King Godcastle, because the King Godcastle kind of works in a different way, right? And those of you who have been playing know what I'm talking about. So let's just go through it. There has been shifts. Of course, I am including the latest hero Athena on this list. I believe next week is the newest hero, which will be included in the following updated tier list. That's how my schedule goes. So the next new hero will be included in the December tier list, right? So Athena will be included. Currently, it is the recording during the Serang Battle Pass skin. So just to kind of give you guys from the future who watch it, you know, where, you know, what time. It's very important when the video was recorded, right? But yeah, okay, so let's go through bottom to top. We go start from D tier, and as always, you can't have D without freaking Daniel. I will kind of do the nods of like any balance changes or things like that. There are quite a bit of shifts here, but you know, generally it's generally the same usually. So Daniel, very memeable tank, basically the new Kanak, and they know that they need to remake this guy, but they have said that he serves the function. We don't see the need to remake him or whatever, or they're struggling to figure it out because they're kind of happy with where he lands. He's a starter character, right? And he's not supposed to be in the limelight. But my issue is that his kit needs to be like, you can keep his identity the same, just adjust his awakening abilities, adjust his potentials, maybe tweak his numbers. You know, like you can still make him a tank, that kind of make him a stun lock tank kind of thing or something. I feel like there are definitely ways to make him a lot better, and it's just a matter of when. But I don't think we're going to be seeing his rework anytime soon, just based on what they've said. So you know, we're going to be seeing Daniel in the D tier for a little bit, but I could be wrong, who knows. Next one's going to be Draco. Draco is also one of the OG heroes. They buffed him as his kit. A lot of these heroes in D tier that I'm going to be placing, a lot of the older heroes that they'll pray to the initial awakening release patch, right? And it's just it's on another level, and it's just power creep basically, in short. And Draco is just one of them, man. He's a really cool character. Dragon spitting boy and flame spitter is very cool. Just not in comparison to the current meta and things like that that exists. He is definitely not great. Next one is gonna be Jupiter. Jupiter is a fan favorite from old. So if you're an OG player returning from back in the day, wherever when I started playing, you're gonna look at this list and you're like, what the heck is happening? Jupiter is D tier. Like, it's actually a big deal. Like, if you come from that era, it's actually a huge deal that she was like God, right? Like a lot of new players don't understand this, but like she was God tier, like God tier. But she's just super power creep. Like she is. I say this a lot in the other tier list videos, but when you are DPS centric, like she has no utility, right? Like basically no utility. And yeah, she can proc a Macassi Nob, you know, like even though you can like the main usage for this hero, I use her to proc a Macassi using that legacy Nob. I mean, I'm looking at the hero, right? The hero, all right, the actual hero, and the hero is trash right now, all right. But yes, you people do use her to proc a Macassi. But that's not going to help her case, right? But she is mainly a DPS hero and no utility. and you're gonna get compared to the rest of the DPS cast. I mean, that it is what it is. Like, if she had utility in some way, shape, or form, then I might bump her up. But that's, if you're a DPS hero, I'm gonna compare you to the top of the tier that I prefer currently in the meta for DPS, and that's just how it is. Next one's gonna be Armas, and then with Armas, I'm gonna put you know, his brother in arms, not actual brother, but the other starter DPS hero that he typically gets paired up in the conversation with is Evan. So Evan got buffed, but you know, to be honest with you, it's as we thought it was. Like, he just got better as a starter hero, to be honest with you, but he is not. They're gonna have to do more than just bump up his numbers, unless he can just like freaking 100% like spell power or something, one shot wave. If he can't do that, like one shot wave clear, like back Evan God chapter 10 type of thing, for Invasion Season 2, then he's always going to be kind of mid, right? So, I mean, like starter type of hero, like truly, now these guys are kind of like truly starter typey heroes, which I think it's on design by purpose. Like, I think they're okay with Evan and Armas being starter type heroes, and like, if you want the toppity tier, you're gonna have to get those DPSs through gacha, which is your more typical route in like gacha games and things like that, right? So yeah, it does suck that you don't start off with one of the best, like, you know, heroes that can go through. Like in the past, you know, you guys know, like, you stick with Evan when Invasion Season 1 just started, right? And then you can just stick with Evan, and then you're good. You're done with Invasion. Just spam, and then max barracks, right? You can't exactly do that now, because you actually, to acquire the top stuff, you kind of need to work for it now and get some things through gacha and stuff. So not the entire answer now, and they are truly starters, and in comparison to the some of the other stuff that is usable, I have to put him in D tier. Next one's gonna be Joel. I've never been a Joel fan, bro. He is a hero that you get for free through the free thingy, right? It's been a hot minute since I did a new account, but I'm pretty sure it's a thing. But Joel is Joel. Very legacy hero. He kind of does. Okay, and another caveat, and I always say it in my other videos, you guys that follow my videos know, Joel, even though a hero is in D tier or C tier or B tier, doesn't mean they're freaking garbage, okay? It's just in comparison to the entire meta. Kinggodcastle, you can make any hero work with certain combinations, etc., freaking whatever. You can try to make some hero do the max chapter, whatever, right? Like, that is the nature of Kinggodcastle. You can literally, nowadays we are living in an era where you can literally achieve whatever you want, and that's just like cool player expression, and that you're able to pull this off. Yeah, cool. Like when you do like an off meta pick, like, yeah, sure, you can do that, right? That is the nature of Kinggodcastle. That's why it's kind of tough to put it in a general hero tier list, like comparison in all, because you're gonna have the whole scope of all the modes. Like each mode is freaking different in itself. I'm freaking rambling. I need to stop because this video is gonna be freaking too long. So Joel, old hero, needs changes. Next one's gonna be a hero lock character, Alberon, one of the OG heroes. In short, I've said it in my previous one. I'm not gonna rehash it again. If you are interested in any of the explanations over time, you can visit my previous videos. But Alberon, healer, mech heals, man. But hero lock, that's literally all he's used for. Sure, you can do heals like in raid and stuff or whatever, but right now, pure heals, it is not strong right now. Like anything with healing, not that great, right? So Alberon, there you go. Alberon needs changes. Awakening's garbage. Next one's gonna be Isaac. Isaac is still on here. Next, she is gonna be the next reworked hero. Leica just got reworked, and he is very good. But Isaac is on the chopping block for the next season to be completely reworked. So I'm very excited to see what they cook with her. She is a hero lock character. I imagine that she's never her identity is a little bit in the gray area, because she is like a utility hero, but she actually deceptively does a lot of freaking damage. But I'm curious how they're going to rework her chains and things like that. So we shall see. But she is getting a rework. But for this patch, she is still old Isaac, still not used and etc. And just, you know, better option. She has utility. Usually if a hero has utility, at least something, right? Because I'm also thinking of how powerful a character is if I want to slot them in my team, right? Like the power of slottage, right? And if I had a flex slot, I'm looking, if I have a flex slot on my team, I'm looking for like a utility hero or someone that can boost my damage, right? So I'm like thinking all of my options. Isaac is one of those options. Based on the other options that I could pick as a flex slot utility, she is like one of the lower ones because it's not as strong as some of the options out there. So that's why she's D. Next one is gonna be a new one. I think it's been so long that I feel like it's right for me to put Behemoth in D. I'm a Behemoth fan. Behemoth gang. You can still do it. I think their conversion that his shield is based off of his spell power, not damage, is a mistake. That was like after that patch when they adjusted that was when like he was downtrending, boys. I personally feel like it should be reverted, but we shall see. But he is not played anymore. Yeah, he has utility, so it's kind of the same idea with Isaac, where Isaac has utility. Behemoth has great utility, but the thing is, there's so many other things in the game that I prefer right now. And his play, I imagine on AWESOMEPIECE's data that his play rate is very low, and I will not be surprised if they choose to kind of, well, I don't know if they'll remake him. There are definitely way more heroes that they should remake than Behemoth. Much older heroes as well. So, but I feel like he's like D+, bro. He's been C tier for a little bit for me, so I think it's time for me to shove him in D. And the joy of this revisiting this list every month is that I can, like, you know, adjust it as I see fit. But I think I'm gonna bump him down to D+, and I will again. I don't do in between tiers, but I will audibly say like D+, but I have to shove him in one or the other because I don't do in between tiers. This tier list, I'm going to shove him down to D, but I'll give him D+. But that is it for D tier. So now C tier, we're going to jump off with Inrath. Inrath was pretty much God for me for Invasion Season 1. Invasion Season 2, he's just not cutting it. Basically, you use him for Death Altar, Great Rift builds, which is very fun, by the way, or early round Arena. That's pretty much all you see him for, typically. So he's fallen off quite a bit, very niche uses, but he's still used. He's not D tier, and he has a unique mechanic of he scales off of no items. So if you're a player, I always hash this every time, where if you're a player who's like very anxiety ridden, or they don't know what one of the big questions with new players is like, what items do I put on a hero and stuff like that. Well, if you just want to turn off your brain, you know, like can do things, you know, it won't be 100% complete run through all the content, but he's useful and he can get you through Season 1 at least. Inrath's your boy. He scales off of no items. You don't put items on him, and he does work, right? So if he's a very good character for that. I do want to see him. Oh man, I wish that second awakening, man. I wish it was something different, but you know, it is what it is. He's such a cool character. Okay, next one's gonna be Agath, another hero lock character, and she's meat shield team wide very good, but she's just pure tank, and you don't really see her as much anymore, but she still has a lot of usages, and she's very solid and very good. But at the end of the day, she is just pure tank. She does have one awakening that is just complete garbage, but she is useful. She's a hero lock character. She pairs up well with another new hero that came out, and you know, she's a hero lock character. She's definitely better, one of the better ones. And if there's a giant meta, she will save your team and things like that. There are some good things you can do around her kit and things like that. So very useful tank, but at the end of the day, just a tank. But she is hero lock character, so if you pull her through gacha, then definitely use her for hero lock. Next one's gonna be Chunga. Chunga is a fan favorite of old. She is getting outshined by her counterpart, which she is paired up with usually. And that is mainly due to the legacy. So keep in mind that there are not most of the cast do not have their unique legacy. So like unique legacy for Chang'e, for example. Whenever that comes out, she might be overperforming her counterpart, but right now her counterpart is skyrocketing way above her due to just legacy, right? So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. She is a fan favorite for early game, but the thing is, though, like, I am considering max levels and everything. It's like, yeah, you can level her up to early game to level 12 and then forget about her, but that's just wasted resources, right? But it's not like she, like, again, if you're in C tier, if you're in D tier, if you're in B tier, it doesn't mean that you can't solo a chapter Nob or like, you know, whatever have you. You know, you guys know the freaking drill. I gotta say this every time. You know, I gotta say this every time. Next one's gonna be Pharrell. Pharrell, they did rebuff they did give him back some of his spell power. They need to give him back. They need to revert him back to release. I honestly don't see a problem with it, man. I honestly don't see a problem. Just make everything OP. But I guess he's solid. My issue with him is that his cadence of damage is a little too, like, it's fixed, right? It's like arcane, right? And I kind of, a part of me wishes that it kind of like scales with attack speed or some crap, right? But he is a cool character. It's just that he's a little immobile. He's immobile. He's supposed to be like an immobile mage nuker, but the thing is, his nuking didn't hit as much as, you know, they need to give him back with his nuke, right? He needs a nuke, right? Right now things are dying very fast, very quickly. And if you are an immobile spellcaster with like a range issue, like he doesn't have his range is pretty freaking long, but if he's not nuking you, like you are getting dead. You're dying very, very freaking quickly, right? So, you know, it is what it is. They need to revert him, but he's still kind of solid. So next one's gonna be Mercil. Mercil, long story short, only really used for damage boosting. The healing component, again, is a little weak, right? Right now, anything with healing is kind of weak, right? Like it's low consideration with healing when healing is in the picture. You either use her for damage boosting, mainly, or CC removal, which is less so. You see that rare, but at least you have that strategic value that you're able to do. But you mainly see her for her damage boosting capabilities. So, you know, C tier. Just because of that, C tier. If it wasn't for that, bro, she's like freaking D tier, bro. If it wasn't for that fact. Next one, I'm going to be putting Nabella here. Nabella, another strictly DPS hero. Again, identity crisis. But the reason she's not D, the reason that she's not D for me is that she has legacy compatibility with courage. And as many of you guys know, courage is very strong. Gives you the revives. And because of that fact alone, she actually is C tier for me. Without that legacy, bro, like if she didn't have that capability with that courage legacy, it's like Círdan would be above her for freaking sure. They need to adjust her identity, to be honest with you, but remains to be seen. Next one, I'm gonna be speak of the devil, Círdan. They did nerf him. Like it was such like a on paper kind of like, oh, okay, cool, it's a nerf, but like that nerf hit him quite hard. But then that nerf hit him, but then he just like power creep happened. Like it was like, oh, boom, Saris, right? Like everyone knows when Saris was released, right? So like it's like bad timing, I guess, but he's still really good. Like they didn't really change too much about him. It's just that his interval and scaling or whatever, it kind of got hit a little bit, but like his kit is still the same. 30 mana hero, like CC immunity, you know, 2 auto attacks, watch him go, auto pathing, like, you know, it's just that there's so many other great DPSs in the game that like pops you in 1 second. Like right now there's so much freaking damage up front, and if the DPS characters don't do that, you're gonna be lower on the list, right? Like Círdan is a little bit like, oh, I'm gonna shred you down, right? You can't kill me, you know, like you're like, you can't kill me. I'm gonna Beyblade you in the face, right? And then while there are some other heroes that are like, boom, you're dead. Like I don't need to even reach overtime to kill you. Like I just need 3 seconds, you're dead. Círdan needs to go to overtime or some crap, right? And that's just it is what it is. Man, you know, it is a little sad because Círdan was the go-to for a while. And he, like, there was one day he woke up and he was freaking C tier, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't freaking know. Next one's gonna be Shelda. If I can find her, Shelda is one of the intro tanks. She is very good. She's one of the staples. Her unique thing is that with her awaken. By the way, if it wasn't obvious that I am considering max everything, right? Her awakening 1 is there awakening 1 that explosive? Whatever. Explosive will is very memeable. The one that is the more popular one allows her to generate mighty blocks, right? And that's her unique trait, right? Is that her ability in conjunction with her awakening ability, right? Lets her auto generate mighty blocks. And there's a lot of good synergy and good strategy. You can like pair that up with like relics and things like that. So very good tank. Mighty blocks, very powerful. So that is the name of the game. Next one is going to be one of the older heroes, Yan. There was a Yan meta. She was good. And then she was like at like the rise of Yan. And then and it kind of balanced out a little bit. She kind of got popped down lower. And I'll give her C, maybe C plus. She does a lot of damage. She does do the healing, but again, healing is a little lower, but she can self-heal due to that, which is interesting. It's kind of an interesting hybrid, right? She does a lot of damage and she heals herself, which is kind of like on the unique end. So yeah, I mean, Yan is Yan. Yan's pretty good. And then next one's going to be Kathy. Kathy, they did buff her a little bit, but not enough. She's pure DPS, and what she does is like what the top of the top right now do, but a little worse. I don't know how to explain it. Like there are other heroes that kind of do what she sets out to do, but but she does it a little slower, like a little slower. I don't know what they can do with her. But right now, I mean, you guys play through the Kathy metas, right? It is pretty oppressive. She needs like a little more. Now the thing is, there's that caution, right, where like if they go too far, it might be a little too much. But I mean, for me, I feel like just go at it, right? Just freaking go at it. Because like, yeah, like her draw is that she can pump out that damage, right? And then when she does her gunslinging thing, it pretty much like auto tracks to whoever, right? She doesn't actually need to path, like it ricochets, right? And that's kind of her balance, right? It just needs a little more damage, like it needs to one pop more, right? Especially with like the new things in the game, like steel set and all this, like everyone's beefier, freaking shields, and then you got people like freaking jumping backlining, shooting you in the face, or one-shotting you with a freaking freaking chain attack. You guys know what I'm talking about. She's just, she does what the current meta do, but a bit worse. And she is pure DPS, so she's going to have to be compared. Next one's going to be Bommy, one of my favorites, range carry. Now, range carries are typically on the lower end. There are right now there are a lot of range carry, or a few range carries that are on the top, but the rest are kind of like on the mid tier, right? And Bommy, unfortunately, is one of those. He is solid, but his damage is a little, right now, he's used as like a mighty block shredder. With like the bomb snaps or whatever, right? And that's what I used him in the past for. I'm not gonna take credit. I will say that I'll give myself credit. I would say that I was the starter of using Bomby snaps to shred mighty blocks back when it was freaking Mercil meta. The freaking Mercil meta, I use Bomby. But Bommy's pretty much like Mighty Block Shredder, and that's pretty much what he's used now. I'm not sure what they can do other than that. It's just that he kind of lightly taps you, right? And there's so much damage right now. Like when you talk about damage, there's so much front-loaded damage. It's insane. It's freaking insane. And he's like damage over time type of thing, right? I mean, he has his Mega Bomb, but it's not quite enough, so it is what it is. Next one's going to be Leo. Leo, another starter character. Tank, meat, shield, still relevant. The reason why he's not D for me is that he fulfills the starter tank role so well. Like a starter hero tank that is beefy, has like a stun for his skill, and he's solid. Like in a giant meta, you put him in the front line in an arena or something, and you get the health buff, right? It's in the grand arena, and he's like, you can't freaking kill the dude, right? And he's useful. He's good where he's at. Like, it's very compared to like Daniel, where Daniel's kit is is not exactly just for tanking. Like, he's supposed to be like a stun god. Like, if you look at him and he's like, oh, he's supposed to like stun you a lot, right? He's actually like stun lock tank, but he's not. Right, he's not. Like, I feel like there's some layers more to explore with Daniel, where Leo, it's like, oh, he is like tank starter man, like, and he's pretty solid. I wouldn't get him, like, he's definitely shouldn't be your priority, but he is a good solid frontliner tank, and he fulfills that position. So I think he's solid C tier. That is why I don't think he needs to get changed. To be honest with you, I don't think he needs to get changed. That's why he's not in D tier. But yeah, Leo. Next one, Ophelia. Ooh, Ophelia. I'll give her like C plus. I'm still gonna put her in C. I still think she is in due for a lot more changes. And yeah, they did buff her, but they need to lower the numbers, bump her damage up a little bit, and you know what? Like, give her back the anti-carry thing. Just throw some more stuff into her kit. Like, give her the zap the highest tier, lower the spell damage, or even lower spell damage and attack. That'd be great. Like, lower both attack and spell damage. That there's some freaking arena implications and things like that, and let it apply to freaking boxes. Apply to freaking bosses, and that'd be pretty good. Or yeah, I don't know. It needs a little more. Needs a little more. But she does feel a lot better. Not D tier, in my opinion. And Ophelia. Next one's gonna be Hella. Hella got some buffs and changes. My head is blocking the way, but Hella, she does damage. I think her damage is like, you know, better. Not D tier wars, but it's like it's actually better now. She is just as like, she's just mainly DPS, and she's DPS mage caster, and if she can't one pop, then, you know, and that's the issue right now. Like range carries and like nuking mage casters in particular, kind of like right now, and healers, right? It's kind of right now, and they kind of need to revisit that or lower the top end. But I mean, I'm not a fan of like lowering, like nerfing people. Just buff everybody. Just freaking buff everybody, man. Just freaking make her crazy. Next one's gonna be Baldir. Baldir used to be D tier for me, but with the magical armor legacy specifically, and with certain metas, I think there is a place for him. He definitely needs a lot more changes. Deer form, no one ever uses it, but I mean, if you use a solo deer form, like, you know, it can do some stuff. But right now, he's typically used as a tank, surprisingly, with magical armor. And then if you're a Belina fan, then shieldings and things like that. So there's a lot of synergies right now, and he is actually useful, right? He definitely needs changes though. Like, if I put him in C. I've been putting him in C. Maybe in my heart I put him in D plus, but like C, because he actually has like things that he's able to fit in, right? Next one, I'm gonna be putting Kane. Ooh, so Kane, item farming. That's it. You don't. They typically they try to make him a solo carry. I'm a Kane player too. I love it. I loved it when it was Kane meta in Arena. You know, way back when, man. Like, but like I feel for those who want to do Kane DPS, and it's not as great. He's basically just item farming guy. And he's the only one that can do it, and is very unique. Yeah, you can do it in raid. He's unique, and you're gonna see players that say, "Oh no, he can item farm. He's so freaking OP. Like, he's S tier. Like, all because of that." I'm including everything, right? Like, as a DPS, you don't see him as DPS. He is an item farming guy, and they need to adjust him. It is what it is. They need to adjust him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's like going down and down and down for me. He is C tier for me, bad. But yeah, that is Kane. Next one, I'm going to be putting Tay Beck. Now, I was going to put Tay Beck in D tier, but I debated it. You only use him for Awakening 2, no retreat. I'm pretty sure it's no retreat, Awakening 2. It's the one when he is invincible when doing skill. That is literally the only reason why you use him, with conjunction with Courage Legacy. That effect alone is why he's even relevant. Other than that, he is garbage. F tier freaking, like, F, like worse than Kanak from the old, useless. And there's another hero that's like that too. There's 2 heroes in the game that is like this, and he is specifically for Awakening 2, Taunt effect, mainly in arena, but there are some you can use it in like implications of invasion and strife and whatever. There's some you can use that taunt, right? But it's a map wide taunt, and yeah, like that it is what it is. Just you don't see it as often nowadays because there's so much CC immunity, blade crown in specific, so you see less take back for sure. And because of that, I was gonna put him in D plus, but the effect still exists and it is a good flex slot, and I have to give it to him. So because of that, I have to put him in C. The effect is extremely strong, very good flex slot, very good effect that can be used. So yeah, I mean, I have to put him in C. Next one, I'm gonna be putting the newest hero, Athena, in C. They did, if you saw my playthrough for chapter 15, Corruption, I did play her. She is usable. Okay, you guys listen to me. She is usable. If they kept her how she was before, like, they changed her, she would be like freaking F tier, bro. But she's actually quote unquote usable. Now, does that mean she's amazing? No. Okay. I think she has freaking issues. Now, my theory is that, so this, if you guys are unfamiliar, this chick is one of the characters that are from, one of the bosses from Great Rift, right? It's one of the 3 sisters. So they released this one. Like, obviously, if they release this sister, it's natural to think that they're going to be releasing the other 2 sisters. My theory is that the other 2 sisters will have some kind of synergy with each other if they're on the same team, or their kits complement with each other, right? That is my theory. But as she is currently with the changes, she is comfortable to play. She can actually function now that you're able to affect her void resource by immobilizing the enemy, not just your own, right? So you're able to actually control that in some way. She does do damage. It's a very unique, awkward feeling how she's played, right? So we will see once the other 2 sisters are released, how I feel about it, right? That's the joy of revisiting the tier list. But right now, she stands, she is like C, I can't, like, maybe C plus, maybe that's a little much, but C plus, maybe. But C is my general feelings right now. We shall see in the future. She is comfortable to play. She can actually function now, whereas before she was unplayable, like actually unplayable. And she's actually kind of playable now. So yeah, new hero Athena, C. Next one, I believe that is it for C tier. We're gonna move him to B tier. Man, I've been talking for way too long, bro. So let's try to speed through this, man. So Dandelion, tank, a lot of damage boosting, a lot of things, like you can reach that unkillable state. Very popular for Giant Great Rift. But she's like middle of the road tank, like. Middle road tank. What can I say? Middle road tank with like attack speed slow, and damage boosting. Right? Very good utility. But she's not going to be SA for me in comparison to the other crap. Like you have to think about. I have to think about the other heroes that I'm placing in S and A. Can I see Dandy right next to them? And the answer is no. So she has to be like B, right? So yeah, B tier. Next one's gonna be Estia. Estia has a lot of utility, pushback, and a pushback, healing. Well, healing is not great, but she does a lot of damage herself too, and a lot of applications, a lot of freaking utility in one person. Kind of there's some unique mechanics in there too. Scales off of attack, right? And the more attack, swords or whatever that you have on her, she has increased attack speed and things like that. So very unique. A lot of utility, a lot of damage, and that is Estia. Next one, Gid Neil is the other one that I was talking about when I was explaining stuff about Taybeck, where you only use this guy for spell shield sharing. His awakening, I believe, 2, whatever the blue one is, I forget. But it's when he is sharing his spell shield, it's kind of like Mighty Blocks. Think of it, Mighty Blocks for spells only, right? And you literally only use this guy for that. Right? If you don't have him awakened, he is freaking F tier with Taybeck, all the way down, lower than Daniel, and that is just, these are the 2 heroes that kind of fall under that, right? And I'm surprised he's not a hero lock character yet. Honestly, surprised. Next one is going to be Rawhawk. Rawhawk, attack speed slow, throw 2 birds at a time, awakening, damage boosting, right? You mainly see him as damage boosting, but he himself actually does some pretty decent damage. Pretty good. You guys old players will look at this like, man, Rawhawk is B tier. He was like F tier hero when I started. And yes, there was a time when Rawhawk was F tier, back before like awakenings were released, right? So yeah. Next one's gonna be Priya, another starter hero, very fan favorite. Freeze lock, a lot of people use her for her pretty much like when you think of mage, like mage spell damage casters, like right now Priya is like on the uppity up, right? Like she's one of the go-tos. Like Priya stun lock, people use her in Strife a lot nowadays, so that's why like the exposure to her is a little more. Her awakenings, both awakenings are great, and there's a lot of strategic value in it, and she is solid, relevant, right? Which is rare to say for a lot of the older heroes. Next one, another stunlock hero, Herang. Herang is stunlock man and a very good stunlock hero. Now it's very popular to use him. He used to be arena god. You don't nearly see him as much in arena, but both of his awakenings are amazing. His freeze one, don't sleep on that one. The freezing does go through a lot of unique things that you otherwise couldn't, aka Blade Crown. Yes, you can still get frozen when you have Blade Crown. And yeah, like freezing totem and things like that. A lot of new players don't really realize that you can freeze people, even though you have CC immunity, right? Herang is one of those where you can actually freeze Blade Crown users, right? And he's used in Strife a lot because he is a East region, right? So you can get the blessing strat, which is very popular right now. Very good, very good. Next one on the list is going to be Rosette. Rosette, mainly used as a damage booster. It scales off of attack speed actually, and she's the quote-unquote dunker of the game. If you are into that, you can make dunk builds, but it's not like as popular, right? You are mainly using Rosette for damage boosting, but there are some one-shot dunking builds that is pretty fun, and she's middle throw. Believe it or not, she used to be freaking Daniel tier, and over the years or whatever, like she's gotten better, and I think she's in a solid spot. She's not supposed to be like crazy S tier, but I think she's in a solid middle ground where she's still used regularly as a damage booster as well. So their usages. Next one, I'm going to be putting Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun, OG raid stable. He's currently in Grand Arena above, but he's all right in Arena. But he's always been like this middle road with that. For those of you that know, there's been a huge history with like FPS cap and how that works with attack speed and all this. I'm not going to get into that, but he is basically middle of the road now. You can still use him in raid or whatever. He's scaling, but full disclosure, he is one of my favorite characters for sure. I want him. I wanted him a second battle pass skin, right? Similar to Priya, but I wish it was better. I hope it was better. And I do hope that he gets reworked at some point. And I do think that he's gonna be reworked, and hopefully he's like double S tier. Zhao Yun is like one of my favorites, man, for sure. Next one's gonna be his brother Zhao Bai. Zhao Bai he is very, very freaking popular. He is the Sephiroth. He's the whatever, man. Like freaking Virgil, Dante, like Nero, like you freaking name it. He's the guy. Lightning God. Very fun to see. Very fun to play because he's like zoops around. He's like anime man. Like this guy is very freaking popular. Does that mean he's freaking S tier? No, he is not S tier right now. He is like middle of the road. Like he can do damage, the very popular combo is him with Serang, right? But you can get things done if you want to feel cool, and if you have the Lightning God skin whenever that comes back, right? That will come back eventually. When that comes back, if you want to see the whole freaking screen shake and stuff, if you want to feel cool playing him, you can do it, right? But is he the top S right now? No, he's not, unfortunately. But he is still very popular, bro, and he is still very usable. So just know that he will probably get more buffs because he's so popular. They have to keep their popular characters relevantly good, right? Because they're popular. Then no one likes. It's kind of like Mel, right? Like Mel was seeing some downtrend, and they're like, no, 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 we can't have this happen. We can't have this happen. So they kind of like rebuffed her, right? And yeah, it's just the nature, man. It's just the nature. You got to keep the popular characters on the uppity up. But yeah. Then next one's gonna be Elizabeth. Elizabeth is another void stacker, and my main issue with her has always been that she is not a 100% mana starter, but you know, some of that has been alleviated with Adamant, the Adamant accessory set, because she can get mana back with one of the effects, right? So it doesn't feel as bad. You know, I'll be honest with you. I'll give you B+. I'll give you B+. I can't put her in A yet. But my main issue has always been that she can't generate enough mana at the beginning of round to do her golems. But now she's also arena meta right now for the Grand Arena buff. That's about to end. But she's a very good void stacker. And yeah, her unique thing is that she can actually proc the deaths of her golems to stack the void relics, right? The other your typical void stackers can't do that, so she is unique in that. She also has some like unique taunt mechanics and things like that caked into her kit, so she is very good. Next one's gonna be, I'm gonna put my boy Mayu, the Rock Johnson, memeable man. He is deceptively a lot of damage. He's boring to play. I think that's his main issue. He is kind of boring to play. He's a little one note because he just kind of like, I don't know. I think he's just boring to play. I think that's his main issue. There's not a huge like spectacle about him. He just kind of, he does skill, and he throws rocks. He's Geodude, right? Like he just like throws rocks at you, and then he just kind of like punches you with a bunch of rock splashes, right? But he does a lot of freaking damage, of course, with his legacy and things like that, right? But he's just not super flashy, but he does a lot of freaking damage. You know, there's some CC disruption there too, and I think he's good enough to be in B, to be honest with you. And I think I'm going to keep him here until otherwise, but he is kind of deceptively powerful, but he is incredibly boring to use. And that is my assessment. Next one's going to be Hanzi. Hanzi is one of the reworked heroes, and with her legacy and things like that, she is very good in my opinion. I did put her in A, because she was very, very strong when they reworked her, in my opinion. But over time, it kind of, like in comparison, it kind of died for me. So it's like B+, but she is very good. A lot of OG Hanzi users don't like the change. In my opinion, it was great. So she's, usable. She's a range carry too, so it's like, if you're a range carry and you're like B+ and higher, like you're doing well. All right, next one, I'm actually going to put Sarah. Sarah's fans. I'm gonna put Sarah's here now. To give you the benefit of the doubt, I'm gonna put him in B+, and I'm gonna shove him down to B. Okay, he has kind of fallen off a little bit. He's a little squishy, and as I said, there are things in the game right now where you get popped. Like, you get popped. When I say get popped, you get popped. And there's a lot of CC immunity too. Okay. So if you get popped and you get CC immunity and things like that, like Sarah's just going to die, right? He's just going to die. And to be honest, I am 100% freaking down if they reverted how his clones thing was. Like, just give me the 4, right? Give me the 4, around him, and we're good. I think we're good. And you can like stack them and stuff and do like some weird, some like path blocking and things that, like, I felt like that was so good. And I think they kind of went too crazy on the nerfs for Saraz, to be honest with you. And he's middle of the road right now in terms of the overall meta. He is still very fun, but he's just not as good as the top of the top in my opinion. So we like, that's just, it is what it is. Revert his freaking nerves, bro. Like, man, like freaking crazy. That's how I feel. I'm very curious how you guys feel about it. I think that is it for B tier. Let's go to A tier. A lot of the top tiers are kind of samey, so let's just go through it. Lily, staple, hero lot character. She is a very good tank. Remount mount. There's a stun in there too, so it's a very good delay as well. And there's some interesting pathing and stuff you can do with her, and she's a staple, man. She's a staple tank. Next one is going to be Neria barbarian build, maze, all the rage. It is not S for me. Is very strong. People play it in arena too, because like people invest in it for invasion, so why not just play the same build in arena, which works at the lower end, right? But there are very direct counters to it, and it's very counterable, but right now is meta farming for sure. Very fun to play. People like to just push start and everything dies, right? And that is Neria right now. Neria builds are a staple, so I recommend learning a Neria build just to kind of get the gist of how it works. Next one is going to be Mara. Mara has been a staple, like void stacker, right? She's one of the void stackers, similar to Elizabeth. Can do damage boosting. It can double, she can duplicate herself, which feeds into the void stacking ability, right? She stuns the target. She generates a mighty block. I mean, come on, bro. There's a lot of pathing stuff involved too because of her illusions if you use that, and it very good, very staple. All right, next one's gonna be Karam. Now Karam, very staple. Evasion, the only character currently that has evasion, very strong. A lot of people like her, very fan favorite, very effective, just not as oppressive as before. And honestly, I feel like they should revert some of her nerfs. A lot of this is like reverting nerfs, right? I think she feels good. I think she's definitely on the top of the top. Like, evasion is no joke, right? So it's just not as oppressive and OP as it was before, but it does exist, and she's pretty solid. So next one is going to be Victoria. We're going to be kind of flying through these top tiers because it's kind of like their top tiers. You guys know the drill, right? So Victoria is a fan favorite, special damage, attack, whatever, mono, combat boost just got buffed, so the play rate on that is increasing. Also, there's a lot of Leica involved right now in the meta. So in arena, it's like the idea is that pop Leica before he can transform, and Victoria is one of the ones that can do it pretty well, right? So she'll always be a fan favorite unless they like just nerf everything for some freaking reason. I do see them adjusting special damage in the future, so if that gets adjusted, then everyone associated that are on the top of the top will definitely get affected. So I do see it like, just heads up, guys, I do see them adjusting like how special damage is and kind of like adjusting it. But we shall see, because right now, if you can utilize special damage and things like that, is very oppressive and very strong. Next one's gonna be Tayson. Tayson, very played in freaking Strife, very useful in arena. You have like the armor sacrificial dagger builds and things like that. Very good tank, one of the rare tanks that can also do damage. Very unique mechanic that damage is based on protection, right? So there's a reason why he's up here, right? He's one of the tanks. Very good awakenings as well. Has Murd legacy capabilities. It's freaking solid. Next one, I'm gonna put Kanak. Kanak, very good performer still, very good damage. People still use him for invasion farming, and he's solid. He feels really good. Attack speed, does a lot of damage and has a good AOE. What can I say? Kanak on the freaking rise since his rework. Next one's gonna be Jinju. Again, this is the Jinju. This is the counterpart to the Chunga that I was telling you about. With Courage Legacy, she is a terror and very good synergy and very popular right now. So the idea is that you use like Fear Devour, Jinju with Courage, and she does a lot of freaking damage. Attack speed, relics and stuff like that, right? Very good. very good, very meta right now. Next one's gonna be Tia with the latest God skin, right? Very popular, very impressive. Her rework, or her adjustment rather, I should say, on her second awakening ability, very good CC and a lot of damage, though very counterable for sure. Very counterable. It's just she's very popular because of the God skin, and that build is kind of like, they like to see bone arrow, hey, don't touch me builds, and right now it's very popular, right? But there are definitely direct counters to it, and that is why she is not S. She feels really good. One of the best range carries in the game right now. As I mentioned, range carries like mage nukers and things like that aren't great right now, especially healers. But she is one of the ones that are kind of up here. Like Tayson is like a tank too, but he's like a hybrid, so he's like very high on the list. Tia is like a range carry, but typically range carries aren't great right now in the meta, but she kind of defies that, right? So very good range carry. Next one's gonna be Rye, fan favorite, void stacker, grenade and things like that. She's not as amazing as before. To be honest, I'll put her B+. To be honest, I'll put her like B+ right now. But she is very versatile and good. You know what? Should I put her in B, man? Ooh, should I put her in B? Ooh, should I put Rye in B? Let me think. Yes, I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it, boys. I think I'm gonna put Rye in B. I think it's so. After thinking about it, she is B+. It's just a matter of what I'm gonna put her in. I have put her in A for a while, if memory serves me right. I think she is B. She's not played nearly as much, but she is definitely a versatile hero that can stack your void and do like on death stuff because there are puppets and things like that. Like her like spell casting is based on attack speed, like skills. She got the Bizal Bai treatment and she was very impressive. There's a lot of bugs and stuff like that, but she's still very versatile and very useful, just not seen as much. She's mainly used, like as a void stacker and like raid, and like she's my go-to. Like if I see her in freaking Great Rift, I'm gonna be picking her 100%. You don't really see her in Arena anymore. Like there's a different type of meta right now in Arena, and like you're definitely not gonna be like using her for invasion runs. So it's like, she's kind of fallen off a little bit, but she's still used. Don't get me wrong. All right. She's still used. All right. Just use a little less around, next tier list, she might be freaking out. So who freaking knows? I'm going to put her in B. I'm going to put her in B. Next one, I'm going to put Belina in A. She still very good. Just not right now, not like S tier good in my opinion. And especially with Leica around, not as great, but she does pop people very quickly. So she's still very good. Don't get me wrong, she's still very good, just not the top in my opinion. Next one, I'm going to be putting Leica, the new Leica rework. He's not S tier, but he is so good right now. He is so good. Very unique to him that he can shred freaking armor, the protection, right? The white stuff on the health, right? He can shred it. He's the only one that can shred it, by the way. And partially why there's like this, there's a counter now to shields, right now, like there's a reason why healing isn't great, is because everyone's so tanky, high health with shields, right? And there was like, you have to do a lot more damage to get through the shield, right? Now there's Leica, so you can just shred the shield, so shield value is a lot less, right? So that means Belina kind of went down a little bit, and there are other things too, like Leica is very good at filling his own niche right now, and he's kind of shaking up the meta a bit, which is very awesome to see, man. Freaking Leica fans rejoice. Very cool. Arena, one of the Arena guys, I think he's gonna be sticking around Arena for a while, and as he should, because he's always been the Arena dude, right? And he's now back in full form, right? Actually in werewolf form. So yeah, he feels really good. Next one, I'm gonna be putting Petros in here. He is not my feelings on Petros. He is very, very strong. Okay, don't get me wrong, he is very, very strong. I don't think he's 100% a necessity, if that makes sense. If that makes sense at all. He is not a Link type hero. So Link types heroes tend to be kind of on the necessity side. And Petros isn't there quite yet, right? I think his thing is that he is like, don't get me wrong, his effect is double S freaking tier. But there are some effects in the game where it's like, if I feel like let me back up. Right now, there are so many crazy stuff in the game that I can include on my team, correct? There are so many things. And Petros fills a spot, and his effect is very good. But the thing is, the problem is insta-casting him, and he's taking a place on the team, right? And he's just going to die, right? 9 times out of 10, he's just going to get popped and die. Right now, he's used the most in either Raid or Strife. Let's be real, right? And of course, like he's a hero lock character too, which kind of ups his value. He's like A+ for me, okay? To be fair, he's like A+. And when I face a team, I don't feel like I'm at a disadvantage because they have a Petros on the field, right? I mean, let's be real. Right now, that's like how I feel. And he's also, it feels bad that he's melee, so he dies quicker, right? And I wish he like started out with 100% mana, to be honest with you. But he doesn't feel like 100% a necessity, right? Like if I face a team with a Petros, I'm not going to be afraid. Whereas if I don't have a Lunaire and they have a Lunaire, or I don't have a Serang and they have a Serang, I'm going to be like sweating, right? And I can't say the same for Petros. But his effect is like double S tier, right? Just that he's like A+ for me. He's like A+, but I'm going to put him in A. I don't think he's like a new player coming in. I'm going to say, hey, get a Link hero, bro. Like get a Serang, get a Mono, or get a Lunaire, right? I'm not going to be saying, hey, get a Petros, like, you know, instantly. Reroll your account. Get a Petros, right? He's nice to have. Like, there's definitely like a tier list for like hero lock characters now. Petros is definitely one of the best hero lock type characters you can have, just based on his effect, his usability. Though hero lock characters, you typically don't really mind them. But he's definitely on these two right here, Laika and Petros is definitely one of the better ones for sure. But yeah, he's very, very good. Just I don't think he's on necessity levels at this point. Very good in Strife though. Very good in Strife because you can actually build him up and stuff like that, because how Strife works. But yeah, I don't know. I don't freaking know. I'll give him A+. Just there are some modes that he's like, oh, he's very, very good, very staple. But like outside of that, it's kind of like I can do without him. You know, I can do without him. It's not going to like blow up my game. And I can do without him. So because I have that feeling, he's like A+, not quite S for me, maybe over time, but we shall see. I think that is it for A tier. Let me go really quick. No, I think, I have one more. I forgot one more. Did I put, I forgot this one. Where did I place? Oh, Rin. Freaking Rin. I actually had her in B. Now it's gonna screw up my freaking graphics, bro. Like it's too much. It's too many heroes. Ah, man. Okay, because of graphics sake, I have to put Rai in A. I'm gonna put her. I like Rai more than Red. Okay, there it is. I'm sorry. I gotta freaking do it now. I gotta do it. Rai. To be fair, she was like B+, but now that I forgot Ren, like she is definitely B for me. I prefer Rai over Ren for sure, just because of usability, versatility. I use Rai for Void Relic, right, and things like that, and Ren is just DPS, right, and you know, usage, utility, right. Ren has been middle of the road. Like very much like Zhao Bai. Like how I feel about Ren is like how I feel about Zhao Bai. Like she is fan favorite, gets a bunch of skin. She is the Chun-Li, like freaking Ari of the game, right? Like beloved. She's middle of the road right now. It's just middle of the road for me, man. Middle of the road. Yeah. Yeah, let me go back and fix that real quick. But yeah, I think that is A tier. Let me look again, just double make sure down here. You guys can see their faces, so I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna put the Link heroes up here. Lunaire, Mono, Serang. I'm not gonna hash it. You guys can figure it out yourself. Link type heroes, hero lock characters, very staple to the game. The game pretty much revolves kind of around these. Link type heroes are very a necessity to learn what they do and utilize them to get a more oomph and damage into your comps and carries or what have you. Very good, very ass. What can I freaking say, bro? Bargery, the OG battery unit, team wide, very staple. Put in her team, gives the mana to your entire team. Casters will do more their abilities more often. Stun lock, you name it. A lot of versatility. I'm gonna put the 3 up here. You guys already see their faces. I'm gonna put the rest. Okay. Ian scaling, special damage, OP right now. All right. Mel, same idea. Use percent scaling. Sargala, very freaking good. Hard to kill. A lot of freaking damage. I don't know what to say. Pair them up with the Link type hero. I see a lot of things like, can you explain team comps why A and S tiers are very good? It's kind of hard to. I'm not gonna explain in this video, but like it's percent scaling, meaning that the more spell power attack that you get, the more crazy damage. These guys' ceilings are so high that it just incomparable to what the other cast can do. They can only really do it. Sargala is very interesting because she scales with like defense, and she's the Riven. That's what I always say. She's the Riven, right? She is like a bruiser, and she is, okay, full disclosure, my favorite freaking character. She can do literally everything, in my opinion. And you only need Sargala. And I love tanky bruisers that do a lot of freaking damage. That's my that is my thing, right? And she fits that. She's one of the newer AP designs, and it's power creep everyone, right? And she's really good, really amazing, right? So I'm not gonna hash it here, but just try them out. Now, are you going to see Mel as an invasion farmer? No, but you have to understand the ceiling's very high, very used right now in other modes and things like that. So overall, just in comparison to the other casts, they're just echelons above a lot of the heroes, right? And there's very good reason for it. So I think that is it for my November 2024 list. Okay, here's my phase block on the way. Here it is. Yes, I did swap the rye, but I think I feel good about it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about my list? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? What do you think about the new hero Athena? And what do you think what the newest hero is going to be? Also, I'm very curious with how Isaac is going to get reworked, and we shall see what the next month will bring us. As a reminder, if you're new, be sure to subscribe. I will be revisiting this list next month to update it with the brand new hero coming out, and all the balance changes of next season is going to be fun for December. But as always, thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one, boys. Later.